Oh, we're live. I think. Yay. I hope. Hi, everyone. Hello. If you're there. So, everybody here, how did you guys get on with the readathon? Great. Diana, I'm most excited to hear your thoughts because I know you're very negative.
Mine? So, I had a rough time. I don't make TBRs for myself. I'm very much a mood reader, and I tried to stick to a TBR, and I think I read like 2 4-star books and maybe a 3-star book, and the rest of them were like 2.5. And I was struggling. I read 3 of my books this past weekend, so
wow,
I like rushed through them. And I read 8 out of my anticipated 10. So it was a rough month. Mood reading is where it's at, though.
Yeah.
But I got through some books that have been on my TBR for a while and that I probably would have waited a while longer to get to. So.
Well, that's good. So you read 8 overall?
8, yeah.
How many did everyone else read?
I read, for the readathon, I read 4 books. Or 5, but I read 10 books overall for the month.
Oh, okay, cool. So you read some extras in one part of it?
Yeah.
I just read 6.
But we got all of right. We just doubled up, right? So
yeah. And I actually I achieved every album individually. It was just that I used the like activity prompt a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So that was my goal, was to like get each album on its own merit, which I did manage to do. But like most of them, because I used Rebecca for like loads of it doubled up for so many of the book prompts, and I just like went back and filled in the activities of them. So it's like, it worked out. It was fine.
That's fine.
Yeah. That's kind of what I did too. Rebecca had filled in a lot of prompts for me.
Yeah, it fits so many. Like maybe we did. I don't remember. Did we know it was going to fill that many when we chose it? It worked so well.
Blank space book.
Yeah. And suddenly I was like, this fits everything.
Which is great.
Yeah, and like I guess for a lot of people it would have fit the prompt of like a book that you've had on your TBR for a long time, because it's kind of one that a lot of people have had around for a while. So yeah, it was good. I bet, like, do you think someone could have got all 9 with Rebecca?
Maybe. It was a book that was recommended to them by us.
Yeah.
It was
5-star
5-star prediction. A book with red on the cover. For almost all of the covers have red, except the blue and black one.
This one.
That one. It's kind of red sky in the background.
The Netflix logo.
More brown.
Okay.
Is this
mostly
Pages and Stage just said 23 books.
Are you the one who I posted was the MVP on Twitter? Like,
wow,
outrageous!
Incredible. Were there 23 prompts as well? But I didn't even know how many there were.
How many did we make?
Well, there were 9. There are 9 albums, so 18 book prompts. But then we had the blank space prompts and the individual prompts too.
Wow. And one of the activity prompts was the audiobook prompt, so that technically could be another book separate from all the other books.
Yes, Pages and Stage was the reading spread that was very impressive.
Nice.
And Savannah also read a book for every album. First readathon I've ever been able to complete fully, and basically did it by accident. How did you do it by accident? I want to know what that means.
Yeah.
I feel like she did it. She may have done it by accident in the same way that we accidentally chose Rebecca, which fills so many prompts.
That's true.
Like,
I didn't make a TBR at all.
Really?
No, I just went each time I ticked off an album, I just like looked at the next prompt and was like, what shall I do now?
Nice.
Wow.
Jen, I almost feel like if you took your other 5 books, you might be able to find places that they fit.
Yeah,
they probably fit.
Yeah.
I did that with a few of them because most of them were audiobooks that I was listening to while at work. So, the listen to an audiobook could have been a separate one then, but I was listening to like Rebecca on the audiobook also. So they all kind of overlapped a little bit.
Yeah. So talking of Rebecca, I want to know everyone's thoughts on Rebecca. And I'm looking at Diana with hatred. So let's start with Harry because it's her favourite book of all time. So
It is.
Let's start with the positives and then
I'm
hear
prepared
the
with
strong negatives.
multiple editions. I collect editions of Rebecca, so
Amazing.
it's a new hobby. But yeah, it is my favourite book of all time. I love it so much.
How many times have you read it?
10 or 11. I probably read it a few times a year when I'm
my God.
If I'm in the reading slump, normally the thing to get me out of it is to reread a book I know I already love.
Okay.
So my go-to is just reread Rebecca again. Yeah. I just love it. Yeah. I've read it a lot.
So why do you think it's so good?
So I like dark books where you're not entirely sure what's happening. They don't necessarily feel like overwhelmingly dark. Atmosphere and setting are my favorite parts of any book. And I just think the atmosphere in Rebecca is so eerie and creepy. And something's not right, but it's not until quite far into the book that you realize what has actually happened. And I also love the fact that you never know the main character's name, although now we know her name is Taylor. Thank you, Emma.
Yes, I saw that.
Taylor De
I was
Winter.
going to say, yes, we do know.
So
Taylor De
on
Winter.
that, she actually gives her name in the book.
What?
One time.
When?
When she's at the ball, when she's coming down the stairs, she has the drummer announce Miss Caroline De Winter.
No, but that's who she's dressed as.
That's her character.
That's her character?
She's dressed as Caroline De Winter.
He thought that the portrait on the wall was of Caroline De Winter, who was some family member, and that's who she dressed up as for her costume, when in reality the portrait is not that person. So that was just sort of I thought the same thing for a second, and I reread it and was like, oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I even marked that part in the book because I was like, wait. She just gives her name. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I just like dark, creepy, eerie. That's my vibe in a book. So for me, it's just perfect.
Nice.
I have a question for. I don't know if so the version I have is the same one that Jen had, and I did love the book. I probably would reread it. I can see why, Harry, you might reread it because it feels very rereadable to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anyone else had that like extra epilogue in theirs. Because the one Jen and I had an extra epilogue in it, and I thought that was I didn't like that. I thought it was very.
So what was the epilogue?
I have a question for you. Is the version that you guys have, does it have the Netflix sticker on the front?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That extra epilogue, I'm assuming. Remember, Harry, I texted you and said, this is what happens at the end of the movie.
Yes, we did.
And I was like, happened in the book.
Okay.
So if you've seen the new Netflix movie, the ending there that makes it less ambiguous than the real ending is probably added in the Netflix adaptation. I can't believe
someone just wrote it?
No, she wrote it. But it was written like way after it was published.
Yeah.
And I think in the 70s, maybe she published that extra epilogue. And I was like, oh, I loved the ambiguous ending. I didn't finish the epilogue because I was like, I don't want to know.
That's a strange choice to make.
Yeah.
Also, I haven't seen the Netflix movie, so I want to know what this is, but I guess people might not want to know spoilers in the comments, so just tell me afterwards what it is. We have a question here. Did anyone catch the Alice in Wonderland reference in Rebecca? What's the Alice in Wonderland reference?
Was it something about chasing a rabbit?
No.
Did she do that?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I remember catching it and thinking, oh, that's interesting because it has that reference too, but I don't remember what it was now.
I don't remember a specific reference, but I do feel like there was a very much an we're all mad here vibes.
Yeah.
Was Was it when she was in the garden?
Okay, she dresses as her in blue after she changes at the ball.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because he was wanting her to dress as Alice in Wonderland, right?
Oh, yeah. That was his idea. And then she was like, no.
Not doing it.
Yeah.
Who wants to give their thoughts on the book next?
Diana.
I want to.
Let's hear it then.
Let me start by saying that I started the month with Little Women, which everybody raves about. You know, it's such a good book. And it's one of those
frozen.
Not for me. Emma's frozen. Oh, hi, I'm back. Are you back? Okay. YouTube doesn't like me talking about things I don't like, I guess. And Little Women, now I have the gigantic, I don't know where it is right now. It's up there. The gigantic Barnes & Noble edition that has all of the books in it. And at the end, it says, and the curtain comes down, and whether or not the reader continues is up to whether or not they liked it. And I texted the group chat and said, so I don't need to continue reading this, right? Because I'm done. So bored. And I was like, but that's all right, because Rebecca is a classic. My mom loved it. Everybody loves it. It's Harry's favorite book. And you had recommended The Children of Jocasta to me, which I loved and did not expect. I don't think classics and I get along well. I think the writing, maybe it's just because I'm so used to my comfort books are fast-paced thrillers. And this was much more of a very slow burn for me. And the payoff wasn't as exciting as I expected. And
did you know, like, what? Did you kind of already know the twist and everything for you going in?
Nothing. I knew nothing going in. So I was really excited to read it. And thinking back on it, I think objectively it's a great story and a great book. I like Rebecca as a character. I don't like, and not Rebecca, the Mrs. De Winter. I like her as a character that I really don't like. She's annoying.
I actually liked her not in a unlikable way. I just thought she was adorable. Like, she daydreams all the time, and she reminded me of me, how she's like always daydreaming about something and always like thinks. I don't know. I thought she was a really interesting character because she like always thinks that she's like boring and everyone hates her. So I was expecting when the book started to find her, because I like knew the story and I was like, she's just passive and timid and like no one's interested. But then when I read it, I was like, I don't think she is boring. I think she just has very low self-esteem. I think she's cute.
Well, what's funny is three-quarters of the way through the book, I was about to DNF it. And then I rewatched your vlog and actually paid more attention to it. And I was like, I got that likable vibe at first. I could see where you related to her. And then she made really stupid decisions that you never would have made.
I might.
I just... I think I wrote, it was like a 2.5 for me. So it was better than Little Women for sure.
But Harry already admitted that you only gave it the 0.5 because she made you.
I didn't. No. I said it was going to be a 2.5 and she goes, good. It had better have been better than Little Women. And I was like, it was. It's just, I think I just don't jive with the writing of classics. And maybe that's totally a me thing. But objectively, I can see other people liking it. I can see myself rereading it in the future. Maybe that's one of the things, is that I'm such a mood reader. Probably just wasn't in the mood for it either.
Yeah.
So.
That's fair. Yeah, I definitely struggle with reading classic. Like, I do find it I have to like slow my brain down a bit for it, which I don't always love. And I find like it is a more boring experience than reading more modern books. But then I find it worth it if it's good.
Yeah.
Which I thought this one was.
Yeah.
I'm determined to find a classic you like. I'm just going to keep going until you like one of them.
I will continue reading them if you would like me to, just as a you and me
But you have to keep send selfies of your bored, annoyed face to all of us so we can see how it's going.
We'll find one that I like one day. I like Hang on. You talk, and I'm gonna find there was a book. Oh, I really loved To Kill a Mockingbird. Is that considered a classic?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that old, but I love To Kill a Mockingbird and In True Blood.
I love In True Blood.
So good. But
what did you other guys think of Rebecca?
So I didn't think this read like a classic to me. I found it engaging. I like stories that are character based. So, and I really liked it because it was very, very much a character based story. You got into the kind of the mind space of the characters. And that's what I enjoy most about books. I liked the atmosphere. I liked that the characters were so different and distinct. You know, that, and I didn't find the main character, Miss De Winter, boring, but she was very intimidated by the staff. And I could imagine she was young. She was coming into this society that she wasn't had any experience in. And so she was intimidated, and everybody had talked about Rebecca being so wonderful and so well put together and so just classically stunning and all of that. So I really enjoyed it. And the twist, definitely I did not see coming. So that was an interesting aspect.
Yeah.
Rachel, what did you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think the characters were very interesting. I mean, the housekeeper, just incredible character. Just constantly made me feel super creeped out, and I could totally visualize it too, being in that house. Very creepy. And yeah, the main character, there's so many mixed feelings on her because I feel a lot of pity for her because I just feel like I don't know, she was just kind of, I almost feel like she was a separate player in her life, like not really engaged in moving her own story forward. But I know that's probably just the time that she was living in. Like, women didn't have a lot of agency. But then, like, towards the end, and no spoilers, but just like what she was willing to accept just to feel superior to Rebecca was like, whoa, okay. Yeah.
Something I found really interesting that I only got after finishing the book, because the edition that I had an afterword at the end written by someone else, I can't remember. But she was saying a bit more, like giving a bit more context about Daphne du Maurier. And one of the things that she said was that Daphne du Maurier herself was bi, which I hadn't known. And that was really interesting. So you know the bit where, I don't know how non-spoilery we're supposed to be. Like, everyone in the chat, no, there may be some spoilers. I'm not very good at it. Even if I aim for no spoilers, I'll forget and say something. But there was that bit where Max is talking about like this conversation he had with Rebecca where she like revealed things that he didn't know about her. And he was like, one of the things that she said, he was like, I'll never even repeat it. It's so like disgusting. I'll never even say it. And when I was reading it, I was like, the only thing I can think of that he would be saying, because he wasn't hiding other things, like a lot of it was obvious. And the fact that he still was keeping it secret, I was like, with that time period, the only thing I could think of was that she was gay or bi. And then the fact that Daphne du Maurier herself was bi kind of gave that a really interesting perspective of like, that probably was what it was, but that Daphne du Maurier isn't like pitting them. It's not like Rebecca equals evil versus the new Mrs. De Winter, who's like pure and perfect. It's almost like she was dividing the aspect of her own personality into these two women, and that you're kind of supposed to like both of them and empathize with both of them. And I liked that angle on it.
Me too.
I loved in your vlog where you said that somebody should make a retelling where Mrs. Danvers and Rebecca were lovers, with the exception of Mrs. Danvers having taken care of Rebecca as a child. If we take that away,
that was a bit creepy.
Although again, the time, you know, but it was, I read it almost in that way where I think if you hadn't said that, I would have read it very much in like she loves her as a child type of way, but reading even more into it was like, there's clearly something. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be so good.
Yeah,
the part
That
where
was the vibe I got.
yeah.
I think that's probably what Daphne du Maurier intended, was that they had been lovers.
Yeah.
Which is creepy to us now and gross, but back then, I mean, if she was an adult when it happened, the fact that she raised her as a child really, you know.
Yeah,
She
it's
was
like
dating
Emma
her,
and Mr.
she was sleeping
Knightley.
with her cousin, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Spoilers, I'm sorry.
It's fine. We knew they were coming. I'm just going to put this comment out. This scene where Mrs. Danvers was touched made me uncomfortable in my soul. Yeah, I mean, she's a creepy woman. Much as I'm like, I want to read a really lovely love story between Rebecca and Mrs. Danvers, she's also terrifying in every way. And like she tries to convince the new wife to kill herself.
Yeah.
There's no positive way to spin that part of her personality, but I'm still into the love story element.
I also want sort of like almost the other Bennett sister with it as well. I want Rebecca from Mrs. Danvers' perspective. Like I want to know exactly what she thought of everyone, because that woman be crazy, but like in her head it made sense. Everything she was doing, she had rationalized it out. She didn't think she was behaving incorrectly. So I want like a backstory. I want to know how she got there, the way that she treated Mrs. De Winter, how she thought that was acceptable. I want to know. She's one of my favorite characters in literature ever, because she's creepy. I love creepy characters. I love unlikable characters. I love a villain origin story. So
I am surprised that it hasn't happened yet with all of this retelling of stories, because it's so hard to come up with original ideas and making villains sympathetic. I love to say all of the Disney. I swear, when they do an Ursula read, just let her be a villain. Let her be evil.
I kind of love it, but I agree. I don't want you to make them like sympathetic characters. I just want them to be evil. And like the new trailer for the Cruella movie, it literally is like trying to be really feminist, and it's like, I can do what I want because I'm a fierce woman. It's like, that doesn't mean that you can skin puppies. that's not like female empowerment. That's skinning puppies. Just be a villain. That's okay.
I think a really great movie that has done this recently, that's made everybody feel like, why do I feel this way? And this is completely off the Rebecca thing, but have you seen I Care a Lot on Netflix?
Oh, no, I haven't, but I keep hearing about it.
It's so good. It's so gay. There's so much murder.
Great.
You start 2/3 of the way in to feel bad for this person who's taking advantage of elderly people. You're like, what's going on in my head? I loved it. It was so good.
I do want to see it. And I love Rosamund Pike. She's fantastic. Did you watch the video of her opening a pineapple?
Yes!
It's so good. It was like the weirdest thing ever. I really didn't see it. No, I haven't tried it either. I don't eat pineapple, so I don't want to go and buy one just to try it. Okay, I'll go and find it. Basically, it's her like staying up. So she was going to be interviewed for something, and she had to like stay up till 1 a.m. or something because of the time zone. So she's just waiting, and she just did like an Instagram live where she was just chatting away, and she was like in her like very slow, calming voice, and was like, "I've just learned there is a new way to open a pineapple," and it's literally her like, you like open it with your bare hands, and it takes her so long to do it, and the whole video is just her doing it and being like amazed when it works and eating the pineapple. It's fantastic. I just sat there and watched the whole thing and was like, this is wonderful.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then I had a talk with myself because I was watching Rosamund Pike eat a pineapple. I was like,
I was like, why am I so invested in this?
Were you like, this is exactly where I should be at this moment in time, is watching this? Because
and then I showed it to a friend as well, and then like I sent it to her and then watched the whole thing again after I sent it to kind of see what she was about to experience. I was like, still just as good as the first time.
I think
great lady.
You would love I Care a Lot. It's
it's
so good.
Would love to see a great pineapple unboxing. If someone else eats the pineapple, I'll do it. I don't want to eat it.
Okay, so all in favor of Emma doing a movie watching vlog of I Care a Lot and opening a pineapple?
Is it gory though? Is the movie gory? No. Okay, cool.
No.
So I'm really bad with gore. I love like murder stuff as long as you don't see gross things.
No, I mean, there is some blood at some point, but it's not. It's fine.
There's no
it's
more
not
gore
to the
than,
level
like,
where I think it's gory.
There's no what?
There's no more gore than like an Avengers movie. It's like that level.
Yeah,
it's more like her behavior is what is fucked up about it, not like or anything. It's more like a psychological thing.
No, it's super
that's
psychological.
Where I want to be.
It's so good though. It's so good.
Yeah, I've heard so many good things.
Yeah.
So what was should we move on from Rebecca? Have we said everything we want to about Rebecca? Does anyone have more thoughts?
Are we sticking to non-spoilers?
No, go for spoilers. 5-second warning for anyone who doesn't want spoilers. And go.
I love murder.
Quote of the readathon.
Me too.
Yeah.
It was my favorite part. It's always my favorite part. I know it's coming, and I'm still just like, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew it was coming as well, and I still was surprised, and I didn't know how tense it was going to be. I kind of thought that the murder reveal was going to be the end, or like near the end, and I didn't realize there was going to be so long afterwards of like this tension of like, are they going to get away with it?
Right.
Into it.
Yeah.
So, spoiler-wise, I don't have that epilogue in my version of the book, but saw the movie. But Rachel or Jen, did you finish the epilogue and want to talk about why it sucked?
I couldn't finish it because it sucked.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I just skimmed through it, and like I started to read it because I thought, oh, well, maybe I need to read this because maybe this is in everybody's book and everybody's going to talk about it. But it didn't even really make sense. Like, who are these people?
Yeah.
Like, who are these people?
So
it's basically them at a resort.
Yeah.
And
they've changed their names, they've changed their identities, and they're just living out their rest of their lives in hiding. And it's like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
I think that was in the movie, but I stopped paying attention. But the main part that was in the afterwards of the movie was I sent Harry a screenshot of Danvers jumping off the cliff, and she had gone up. Mrs. De Winter had gone up to Mrs. Danvers after the Manderley exploded, and Mrs. Danvers took credit for it and was like, "You didn't deserve this. If Rebecca can't have this, nobody can," and so on and so forth. And it was like it ruined the ambiguous ending, and not worth it.
I was very mad.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't like that. Yeah, because it was such a perfect ending.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, I remember when I read it at school the first time being like, I didn't like the ending because I was like, what happened? It's just stupid. That was really boring. I don't think I even like guessed the subject. I was like, what, they just drove into the sky and the sky was red because the sun was setting? And then when I reread it, I was like, oh, it's not a sunset. Something else is happening.
Yeah.
Max must have been referred to as Henry because they changed their names and went out to.
That's weird.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the book, that's at the beginning, right? They are living somewhere else. You like meet them when they're older and they're living somewhere else. But I didn't remember them having changed names.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. Like, I remember sort of the beginning of the book, but I kind of had to get through the beginning until she got to the house, and then I started enjoying the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely picks up after they've like got to the setting of Manderley. I think Manderley is so important to the story and the way that that's written, and just all of Daphne du Maurier's books are written about the Cornish coastline because she knows it so well. I love that as a vibe. I love books set by the sea. So
Rebecca ends as the Grease movie is so true. They're just flying away in the car, except in Greece there's not, the carnival hasn't exploded behind them. That's the only difference.
And someone can
Small difference.
Rebecca the musical.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch. Honestly, anything the musical, I will watch.
Me too.
So aside from Rebecca, what were everyone's favorite books that they read in the readathon? Diana, did you have any good experiences at all?
Yeah, so I had 2 books that I rated 4 stars. I just started a NetGalley account a week ago. I got approved for so many great books. So I squeezed in Madam by Phoebe Wynn, which was, so it's an arc, but that was a really great book. It was very dark academia and atmospheric and everything. But I will say, I also really loved The Children of Jocasta. Which Harry recommended to me it was for the retelling for folklore. And I am not a huge, maybe I am, I don't know, a mythological Greek retelling type person, because some of that stuff is in Madam too, and I really enjoyed that part of it. But it was great. I didn't know, I have very basic bland knowledge of Antigone and Oedipus, but going into it, I didn't really need it that much. It was a great book. Yeah. Some of the other books I read were, what else did I read? I read Fried Green Tomatoes.
Did you hate it?
I didn't hate it. I don't hate
it. I love that book. It was so good.
I feel like, once again, this may have been an issue of me not being in the mood for such a slow burn. And I was actually much more interested in the storyline of not the ones who owns the cafe, but the present day storyline I was more interested in. I think because the past storyline jumped around so much that I couldn't keep it straight, that affected it. I think I gave it 2 or 3 stars. Maybe 3. Remember? I know. I'm so sorry.
Remember, I have the power to kick you out.
Diana just said one of our favorite books.
I know. Wow.
I don't know what else I read. What else did I read? I read.
So what? Okay, if everyone had to pick their top and their bottom, their best and their worst.
Little Women was my worst, and the top was either Madam or The Children of Jocasta.
Nice.
I'm happy with that.
I think for me, my best one is a tie between The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivey or The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I love both of those. And probably my worst was People Like Her by Ellery Lloyd.
I like that one.
It was good. And that's the thing, is I didn't read anything lower than 3 stars. That was actually my only 3-star book. And I was just like, it was really good up until just kind of a blah climax for me. I was like, I was expecting more because there was so much build up to it.
Yeah.
And which was one you said was your favorite? Oh, Four Winds or The Snow Child. Yeah, I haven't read either of those.
Oh my gosh. So The Snow Child, so beautiful. And The Four Winds, I love all of Kristen Hanna's books. Also, I read Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, and that was so good. Like, everybody should read that. It's so good.
Okay.
That was your memoir pick, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The audiobook of that is fantastic.
Oh, I bet
Trevor Noah. Yeah, Trevor Noah is the one who narrates it, and it's like sitting down and listening to him tell his life story. You get all the comedic pauses that he does through it. It's really fantastic.
I laughed out loud so much just reading the Kindle version, so I'm sure his delivery would make it even better.
Yeah.
Is anyone offended by this trashing?
I haven't read Lord of the Flies yet. I haven't read it yet. Although we'll see. It's a classic, right? So I might.
It's a classic, so you're going to give it a 2.
Basically. But I loved A Little Life. I think Emma and I bonded over the fact that neither of us cried over A Little Life, that we loved it.
It's so good. And I have read Lord of the Flies and I liked it, but that was when I was at school, so I didn't really remember.
Lord of the Flies has a lot of death in it, right? People are killing each other. I might love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it maybe doesn't have as much as I wanted.
Oh, really?
But again, I read it when I was 15. I think I wanted it to be absolute carnage, and it was more just something to analyze, and I wasn't feeling like analyzing it.
So I read
Hi, Claire.
Hi, Claire.
I read Lord of the Flies when I was in school, and I loved it. But a couple of years ago, I reread it to reread a classic or something. I hated it. I was like, this is not how I remembered it. It was his whole premise of the story is to analyze what happens when boys are just kind of left to their own defense, and how society really kind of impacts how we live and how, as a society. And I think he accomplished that, but the story itself I just hated all of it.
And also, wasn't there a real life thing that then happened? So he kind of wrote that if these boys were left by themselves, they would all like start killing each other. Mm-hmm. And then in real life, it happened. There was like a plane crash and a bunch of schoolboys were stranded on an island, and they made like a socialist utopia and just like had a great time. So it's like I think a much more positive reality.
Right. I think his book was based off of that incident, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But his was darker.
Yeah, definitely darker. Definitely.
Okay, what else were your tops and bottoms? Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say on A Little Life, when everybody shows that cover, I've never read it, but the only thing I can think of is Michael J. Fox. I think that whoever's picture of it, it looks like Michael J. Fox.
I think it's
James Franco. It always looks like James Franco to me.
That's so funny.
But the thing is, I think I had told you this, Emma, and you didn't know. The cover is actually, I think it's from like the early 90s, late 80s or something. It's a portrait of a man, and the title of the photo is called The Orgasmic Man.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
And
I thought it was Jim Carrey crying. That's not what I got from it.
I always think it's going to be like a memoir or biography of Michael J. Fox, and then I'm like, oh no, that's A Little Life. That's not what that is.
So it looks like Jim Carrey, it looks like James Franco, and it looks like Michael J. Fox. Love that.
The cover that I have doesn't have a person on the cover.
No, I've got
It looks better.
Yeah, the like stairs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to have that version of it in order to read it. Otherwise, I would be confused the whole time.
Yeah. Like, when is Michael J. Fox going to appear in his own memoir?
Yeah. I don't remember any of this.
Okay, who else has tops or bottoms?
So for the readathon itself, Rebecca was my lowest rated.
Oh, what did you rate it?
Getting so
4.5 stars. I rated it 4.5 stars.
How very dare you?
Oh, okay.
You had a lot of
4.5 stars. It was your lowest?
It was my lowest. I had a wonderful reading month. The only thing I rated under a 5 stars besides Rebecca, well, my book club book, Little B, I rated that a 4. But I read A Brief Time of History, and I just didn't understand that. I'm not as smart as him. But my favorite, A Brief Time of History, it's written by Stephen Hawking.
Well, A Brief History of Time, or is it A Brief Time of History?
Oh, A Brief History of Time.
I want to read it.
Sorry. It was
I love that book.
way more mathematical than I could even wrap my brain around.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my favorite book that I read for the readathon was The Vanishing Half. I listened to that as well.
Oh, so good.
I love that book.
Yeah, that one's brilliant.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I also had a really good reading month. My lowest was a 3-star.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Lavinia by Ursula Le Guin, which I read for the folklore retelling prompt. I just didn't love it as much as I wanted to, and I love mythology retellings, one of my favorites. But my book of the month, Clara and the Sun, Kazuo Ishiguro.
I really want to read it.
I
love
Kazuo Ishiguro so much. Never Let Me Go is one of my favorite books because it's got the same thing as Rebecca. It's got the atmosphere of something eerie's happening. You're not entirely sure what's going on, and then there's a twist, and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand. And Clara and the Sun was quite similar in that you knew it's dystopian, so you know there's something coming, but you don't know what it is, and you have no idea what it is until there's a conversation, because you're in the head of Clara, who is a robot. So you're figuring, you only have her perspective of the world around her. So she is trying to understand her place in that world. And when you figure it out, you're like, ooh, darker than I thought it was going to go.
Cool.
But Kazuma Shiguri went to my university, so he took the creative writing masters at my university. So I'm very lucky to have met him before. So I think I'm just a massive fangirl now.
Was he amazing?
Yes, incredible. I think.
Oh my god, what's he like?
He's very quietly spoken.
Yeah.
But he was really, really cool. He did. So I went to UEA for my undergrad, University of East Anglia, and we have a massive literature department, a massive literature festival. And it was just after he'd won the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Yeah.
He came and did a talk at UEA. So I took like 7 of my books. I was like, please, can you sign them all? But yeah,
so cool.
I'm a massive fan anyway. But yeah, Clara and the Sun.
I've only read 2 of his books so far, but I absolutely loved both of them. So I'm desperate to read them. Yeah, that was the first one I read and I loved it. And then for this readathon, I read The Remains of the Day and I loved it. Like, so different.
Yeah.
So I just want to read like everything he's written and see like what the range is.
Yeah, I really like The Buried Giant. It's sort of a soft fantasy, historical fiction fantasy thing, which is what I love anyway. Oh, I read an incredible fantasy this month called Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse.
Okay, what's that?
It's based on Mesoamerican culture, and I have not read anything like it. And I know I've studied Mesoamerican culture a lot. My degrees are in archaeology and art history, so that was stuff I knew already. And the way she does it, it's so brilliant. So if you're looking for more diverse fantasy recommendations, it's the one.
Awesome.
That was one of my sister's favorite books last year.
I wasn't expecting
I need to go to it.
I wasn't expecting any of it, and it was just so good. And I love a fantasy, so it was everything I was looking for in fantasy.
Nice.
I've just been seeing this, following this conversation in the comments. Starting with this one. You'll have to go back to the beginning of the video and rewatch the discussion.
Yeah.
Because they are not the only one.
There was someone in the comments who had started reading the Wayward Children series as well, with Every Heart a Doorway. It's brilliant.
I never read those.
It's brilliant.
Oh, I love those.
Portal fantasy.
They're like booktube favorites, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure they're your thing, Emma.
No, I'm not going to read them.
No. I don't think you would like
teenage main characters, like all the stuff in the game.
The rap is incredible though.
Yeah, definitely. I like that they're easy sci-fi too. I mean, sci-fi fantasy, because you can get into the world really easily without it being difficult.
Yeah, there's not a ton of world building, so you're not like thrown into something completely unfamiliar and then having to figure out where you are. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, and the worlds that are unfamiliar, they're supposed to be that way, so. Yeah.
That's cool.
What was your favorite book of the month, Emma?
My favorite. I had a good reading month. I really liked The Remains of the Day and Rebecca, and what was my other 5-star one? Leave the World Behind. The first 3 books I read for the readathon were all 5 stars, and then it kind of went a little bit more downhill. So by the end, my least favorite one was Blood Orange. I don't know if anyone's read that, which was like a thriller, and it was not for me. It was very
That was your
weird.
surprise book, right?
That was my surprise book, yeah. And it had, I'm not going to say on the live, but I kind of want to talk about the ending because it was just like, what the fuck? But it was, which can be a good thing, but it wasn't very good. So that was my 2-star read. But yeah, 3 5s at the beginning.
Nice.
Are we planning another challenge? Yes, we're starting again next month.
Right?
Right.
Right back
Get
to the beginning,
ready.
do it all again.
We're doing it again next month.
Every month with 31 days now.
Yeah. It's so soon until Fearless.
I know.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Did
Did
you all
anyone
know
else
that
know what they were doing in the
posted?
middle of the day yesterday to decode all of the bonus tracks?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good month to do the readathon in because there were like a few little Taylor announcements.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
The Grammys.
I heard that the Friends is filming their reunion starting next week, and I heard that there's a very famous A-list singer who is going to be performing with Phoebe one of her most popular songs. And now what? Now,
Do you
while
think?
while my Twitter is full of people saying Harry Styles is going to do it. No, I
It's
think it's
me.
Taylor.
It's
I
Taylor.
think it's Taylor.
my-
It has
got
to be. Who else would sing Smelly Cat with
I
Phoebe?
really hope it is. And is Taylor a Friends fan? I feel like she
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
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 Probably.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She like it's basic in the best way. She's basic in the same way that I'm basic, and I mean it as a compliment. I'm sure she loves Friends.
Yeah, she does.
That's so exciting. I really want that to be true. Also, I didn't even know that they were starting filming next week.
Me neither.
I
Very
followed, what is it, Dumois, that Instagram that's all like blind items and stuff.
That's so cool. So it's not like a new episode. It's just them hanging out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a no. I think it's supposed to be an actual like reunion not okay. I know what you mean, and I can't talk
I've
right
got
now.
the article up here. Yeah. So the reunion won't see the stars in character. We're not in
I
character.
think it
We're all
will.
ourselves.
I think they will be in character.
Although there is one section of it that I don't want to give it away, but we all read something. Okay, so like I think maybe they're going to be in character for like a scene.
Mm.
Whatever happens, I'm excited.
Oh, David Schwimmer said that it's not an episode. I guess they did do a reunion several years ago, but one or two of the people weren't there. It wasn't like a real reunion. So maybe it will be like a reunion, but they'll each play a little skit or something.
Yeah, that's the article I just read was like it's a reunion, not an episode, but that there's like a surprise that's going to be in it.
Right. Claire
I
said
hope
that
the
we should go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna change the topic, so you go.
I hope the surprise is Marcel the monkey.
Oh, do you think he's alive still?
I know, but I just
I
saw a
hope so.
TikTok of somebody taking care of their baby pet monkey, and I sent it to my best friend and was like, "I need a monkey," and she said, "You won't even let me get a dog." But the monkey's so cute.
Have you guys discovered this?
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
I
no.
did not. I did
I'm
not.
not smart
Yeah.
enough to be like a super Taylor fan who's doing the Easter eggs. That's all Rachel.
I
Yeah.
saw it on Twitter. If you guys follow Lauren Lipman, one of her followers, made the track go backwards, and you still can't really understand it, but you can tell
Okay.
she's singing real words when you
That's
listen to it
cool.
backwards. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Claire said that we should make this an annual thing and change the prompts for the re-released albums, which I agree with.
Mhm.
Part of
Yeah.
me thinks that we should do it in December, but then I think about the holidays, and
Yeah.
so,
I think I was kind of had an idea I was going to propose to you folks, but maybe like we could do it every March, but then in December do like a weekend mini "'Tis the Damn Readathon"
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like back to December. Marathon.
for like her birthday weekend.
Oh,
Mhm.
December-a-thon.
Yeah,
Title work in progress.
yeah.
No,
love
no,
that.
we're sticking with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely up for doing more.
Yeah, it's
This
been
is
super fun.
fun. And like she's just gonna keep giving us music. So we need
Exactly.
some-
We
Yeah.
might as well keep using it for content.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Readathon
Well, I think
whenever
I'm
you go out
gonna
of style.
yeah. I'm gonna start getting ready for food. But thank you so much for being with me, you guys and everyone else who was involved. This was very, very cool. I did basically absolutely nothing for this, and everyone just planned it, and I came along for the ride, and it was really fun. And thank you everyone who took part as well.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Literally right before we went live, we were just like looking through the hashtag on Instagram, and I couldn't believe how many there were in there. It's so cool.
It's so nice. Marika did a nice, final video just of scrolling through, and
Wow.
lovely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Really,
will
really
just
cool.
I will just add as well. I use this month. I choose a different month, choose different charity to support every month with my reading. This month, my charity was Bipolar UK, and we raised £126. So
Wow.
everybody
That's
who
awesome.
donated to Bipolar UK, it really means the world. So thank you everyone.
That's fantastic.
And I am still working on adding videos to the playlist, so just give me time. There are tons of them.
Yeah.
So as I find them, I'm adding them to it.
Jen is doing an incredible job doing the Lord's work. Looks exhausting. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.